Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura and today I'm doing a tag video. This is part of a series of tag videos that I am posting all week in celebration of reaching 1,000 subscribers. So today I am doing the reading habits tag. This tag I think has been around for quite a while, but I will link up the original video if I can find it, and if I can't find it I will just link up a bunch of people that I have watched and enjoyed their tags of in the box below. So please go and check it out and do this tag if you would like to. I am also going to be tagging some people. Again, I will be listing your names below, but if you don't get tagged by me, you know, that doesn't mean that you can't do this tag, and I would love if you wanted to do this tag. Let me know if you do decide to do it, and I will come and watch it because I really like watching these types of tag videos. Anyway, let's just get into these questions. Question number one is, do you have a certain place at home for reading? I don't have a designated, like, this is only for reading spot. Generally, I read in bed, and sometimes at my desk, and sometimes on the couch, and sometimes at the table, and sometimes in my sister's room, sometimes in the comic book room, sometimes in the loft, sometimes when I'm sitting on the stairs. I guess no, I don't. I don't. I just read wherever I am at the moment, and if I have a book in my hands, then I'm reading it. Question number two is, bookmark or random piece of paper? No. The answer is no. I have bookmarks, and I put them in my books. Either I haven't read the books and they're in my books to look pretty because they've got tassels on them, or I have put them down for the time being and they're holding my place for, you know, a number of months. But actually when I am reading a book, I don't use a bookmark or a piece of paper. What I actually do is I announce to myself what page I'm on. So I might have a book open and I'll say to myself, page 73, I'll close the book, I can remember 73, and I'll go back to it, no problem. I can remember a few numbers like that. So yeah, as long as I say it out loud, I can remember what page I'm on. It's really weird, but it works, and then I don't have to worry about losing paper or bookmarks. And I don't use bookmarks when I'm reading comics. I normally will just finish a comic because it doesn't take that long, but if I get interrupted in the middle of a comic, what I'll do is I will put another comic inside it and just hold the place while I go and do that thing like answer the door or whatever and come back and finish my comic. So I don't normally have a need for a bookmark or anything. Number three is, can you just stop reading, or do you have to finish at the end of a chapter or page? I can finish at any time. I can finish mid-word. It doesn't really matter to me, and usually I have stopped because I either have to get off the train, or I'm being interrupted for some reason, like the phone rings, or I'm tired. And normally when I'm tired right now, and I don't have any more time to think about reading until the end of the page. I'm tired now. Close the book. Number four is, do you eat or drink while reading? I don't eat when I'm reading because I normally hold the book with two hands. Is that not normal? So like, I don't know how you would eat something because I don't have a third hand. And do I drink? I sometimes will drink something, and my drinks of choice are anything cold. Doesn't matter what it is. Number five is multitasking, music or TV while reading. Sometimes. I will have music on when I'm studying, which usually involves reading, just because I feel like you can kind of create more of a bubble, because it just sort of like blocks out any other noises that might be around me, and so I will have music on. Doesn't even matter what kind of music, it can have lyrics or not. I don't really normally get too wrapped up in whatever it is that I'm listening to. I don't know about... I do watch TV sometimes when I am reading comics, but I don't think that I could do it when I'm reading like prose fiction. Yeah. Like, I like to have the TV on. Usually the TV is on, just on, and I might not be in the room, and it's just sort of like ambient noise, so I don't feel like the house is so quiet. So yeah, the TV is on a lot. Sometimes I'm sitting in front of it reading, but I'm never usually watching it, if that makes sense. Number six is one book at a time or several at once. I am not good at reading more than one prose book at a time. I usually would like to finish something before I pick up another book. Sometimes I will stop midway during a book and I'll pick up another book, but that book that I've stopped on, I probably won't pick up again for like 6 months or a year. So like I don't necessarily count it that I'm reading. It's sort of like I've just taken a break for a long time. So I'm not reading it, but for comics, because of the way that they're published, I would say that I am reading like upwards of like 40 series at any given time. But it's just because I can only get so many things published within a month, and then I'll read a little bit, whatever is published up to that point, and then a couple months later I might read a little bit more because that amount has been published. So like I have so many series on the go in manga, but I have never had a problem where I haven't been able to get right back into a story. I can remember a lot of stories. I can remember, I don't remember details really well, but I don't always think that that's super important to get back into a story. Number 7 is reading at home or everywhere, and a little of both, but mostly at home, because I read mostly manga and I'm really protective of my manga. I don't take my manga outdoors, like it never leaves my house, so I never read it anywhere but at home. And as far as prose goes, that does come with me sometimes, but I'm not always reading prose. And but I would read it like on the train on my commute, and I would read it like waiting in a doctor's office or waiting while picking someone up from something. But apart from that, I'm not reading it a lot, but I will read not at home. So yeah, like mostly at home. Number 8 is reading out loud or silently in your head. This is going to be primarily silently. I think that when you're reading silently, and you don't notice the words, like you aren't reading out loud in your head, you can read more quickly, and you can read, it's just so natural to read, like you don't even know that you're reading, you just are seeing story kind of unfold, and it's just like watching TV or movies, like you aren't doing any work. But as soon as you start hearing the words in your head, normally that would mean that I'm either too tired to be reading, or I just cannot get into the writing because the writing just isn't working for me. Normally if I'm going to be reading something out loud, it usually will have to be like, it's usually I'm studying for something in university and I need to actually like physically hear the words in order to understand it. So sometimes that will happen. Either that, or I am so either profoundly impressed or profoundly disturbed by the writing that I have to read it out loud and just sort of like wrap my mind around either how beautiful a prose is, or how how could this possibly have gotten published, the prose is. Number 9 is, do you read ahead or skip pages? And I would have to say yes, of course. In fiction, I will read ahead if I'm not enjoying a book. I just want to like get it over with. And if I need to find out what's going to happen, I like spoilers. I like to be spoiled. So I like to know what's going to happen before it happens. And then I can just like really appreciate the story. I can really appreciate the writing and how it unfolds, rather than have to worry about like what the actual eventuality of plot is. I'm usually more interested in how it's written anyway. So yeah, you can totally spoil me for things. I don't really care. Doesn't bother me at all. And sometimes when I'm making videos, it's really hard not to spoil things because I like spoilers. But yeah, nobody else seems to. Number 10 is breaking the spines or keeping them like new. If I'm reading comics, absolutely 100% keeping them as new as possible. But I reread them also so often, so they do get some damage over time. But when I am talking about like prose books, especially classics, I love the look of books that have been like properly read. So books that have like really lots of creasing the spines, especially things like Penguin Classics or Wordsworth Classics, or vintage classics. So any of the like, really standard classic paperbacks. I really love the look of those when they get really read, especially if I'm the one who've read them, because I'm just like, I've read that knowledge is in me, those words are in me. So yeah, I like books that look like they've been well loved and read, but I won't do that to my comics. Number 11 is, do you write in your books? I don't write in my comics, but I will write in my classics, never with anything besides pencil, and because pencil is archival, it's not going to hurt anything. Yeah, it's on the paper, but like it doesn't actually do any damage. So I will write with pencil. Normally I'm not writing in my books unless I'm, you know, taking a course on that or writing a paper or something on it. But there is one exception to that, and that is when I see the word ambition in classics. There's just something about people's preconceived notions about the term ambition, and I just really like noticing it. Don't ask me why, it's just a weird thing that I've always done. So yeah, anytime I see the word ambition in classic books, I will circle it and put a little note in the margin in pencil, because I do. And number 12 is who do you tag? I will list your name down below if you are interested in doing this. If I didn't list your name below to tag you and you want to do this, please feel free. Let me know if you decide to do this tag and I will definitely check it out. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.